Good morning. It's December the 15th, and as you can see, it's snowing. But I'm going to take a walk anyway. It's about half an hour until the sun comes up. We're supposed to get, a couple of centimeters of snow, nothing too major, but some. Get my cord figured out here. I'm wearing my heavier gloves, which are always a bit awkward. Okay, and we're off. It's Wednesday, but I haven't done a walk along the creek, so that's just going to be a walk along the creek today. Can't really drive anywhere because I don't have a car. One car is still in the shop getting body work done, and the other one my wife has at work, so. We'll see how this goes. I don't think it'll be a very long walk because it's not all that pleasant. Although it could be worse. When I got up this morning and asked Google, we have a Google Home Assistant that we got for a freebie when we subscribed to a newspaper. Asked it what the forecast was. It said, high of 11, low of whatever. There's currently a typhoon warning in effect. Well, since a typhoon is a Pacific hurricane, hi Roger. Pretty sure we don't actually have a typhoon warning in effect. I thought there might be a wind warning, but there's not a wind warning either, so. And yes, it is snowing, but it's not a big snowstorm. It's just 2 to 4 centimeters, I think they said. 1 or 2 inches, 1 and 1.5 inches, something like that. It's currently minus 11, which is minus 12 or so Fahrenheit. Not minus 12, plus 12 or so Fahrenheit. It's all right in the shade, shelter, I mean. But I see what it's like when I get out where the wind can get me. I may wish I'd worn a scarf. And I'll have to watch my footing because you can't really see under the snow. And we had melting a couple of days ago. So there's ice under the snow in spots. So that too will mean I probably won't walk as far as I sometimes do. Probably just my older style walk along the creek, which I did back when I was jogging it. Which is about 4K as opposed to 5 or 6. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. It is cloudy, so even though the sun will be up in half an hour, I don't think I'll get any pretty sunrise pictures. So much traffic along here. Always surprises me. Where's there to go? See if I can do something about my collar to reduce the amount of snow that's getting into my neck. That should do it. Hopefully the sound remains solid. Always put it in my hood. That might help too. I won't try to snap it in place, but I can put it up at least. Oh, that's better. See a little bit left of Christmas lights even this time of the morning. Some of them go off overnight, some of them stay on. We have a light sensor on ours, so it goes off it goes on when it gets dark enough, and then the timer keeps it on for 8 hours, I think, and it goes off. So it usually goes off shortly after midnight. This time of year. Got editing to do today. What else happened yesterday? I bought a new computer. Turns out that my old MacBook, not that old, got it in July 2020, and it died. 2021. Oh, it says my mic disconnected. Crap. Alright. I know if I unplug it and plug it back in again, it'll probably take care of that. Okay, that reconnected it. At least I can do that with the wired mic. I couldn't do it with the wireless one. What was I saying? Yes. So, of course it was out of warranty. For some reason I didn't put Apple Care on it. You'd think I'd know by now that Apple products do fail, considering it's happened to me more than once. So as a result, it's going to be, what was it? $1,200 to fix the thing, and I could get a new one for just a few $100s more. So I'm getting a new one, and then the tech people will transfer the data, so at least I shouldn't lose anything. They said the hard drives were fine on the old one. It's the logic board that failed. So the sun will come up over there somewhere behind those clouds. It's much darker to my eyes than it is to the camera again, as it always seems to be. Much darker. Will I run into dogs this morning? I bet you I do. There's always people walking dogs. And the mic disconnected again. I gotta fix this one more time. I have no idea what's causing that. Can't keep doing it if it does it every few minutes, so. But with the wind, I don't really want to go to just the camera. It's not staying connected. Well, okay. Just gonna unplug it then. Give it one more shot, and if it doesn't stay connected, we'll leave it unplugged. Let me know if it's gone out of focus, because that happens sometimes too without me being able to tell. I think it's okay. Oh, hello. Buck they from Newmarket, Ontario. Yeah, it went off. Crap. Okay, just a second while I completely unplug it and just take it off so I don't lose it. Well, if it doesn't work, what's the point? Okay, well, whatever sounds you get with just the cameras that we got today. That means there's going to be a lot of wind noise. I mean, in some ways it's easier, and I know it picks me up, but the wind noise can be quite atrocious. Raining here. We're going into a long cold spell now. The long range forecast shows cold weather right through 2 weeks from now. Right through Christmas, on towards New Year's. Sort of, well, not, kind of normal. Don't have to worry about our snow melting before Christmas, that's for sure. And in fact, there's more snow in the forecast, so it's going to be a properly white Christmas for sure. I guess I could put a little cotton ball over the microphone again. I tried doing that when I first started doing these walks to try to cut down the wind noise. sure how much success I had. Alright, over the footbridge. It's not very often I walk even that far along the dike without running into dog walkers, so we are looking east. The sun is trying to rise over there in the next 20 minutes or so. Looking west, which is into the wind. Or the mist. It's just getting colder today. I don't know if I can walk into the wind from here. Got spoiled about being pretty warm the last couple of days. So will be fairly sharp at this temperature with the wind blowing. We'll see how it goes. I was out on a day that was quite a bit colder than this, and I could do that, but I should have worn a scarf. With the scarf, I'd be perfectly comfortable, but it's a little harsh on my cheeks here when the wind catches them. Well, we'll at least walk to the Elphinstone Bridge, and I might walk back, make this one shorter than I thought I would. My fault for not being properly prepared. Still a walk along the creek, however far I go. Falling off the path because I can't see the edge. At this point, I don't think you could fall in the creek. I suspect that ice would bear me. I'm not going to test it. Likely. There you can see the snow again rather than the lights. At least you get the crunch of the snow. Squeak, actually, more than crunch. It's really sheltered in here, so it's not too bad. Very unusual to have had the path to myself entirely. I actually only see a couple of footprints in the fresh snow, so other people have been out, but I haven't crossed paths with them. The dog walkers are waiting a bit, I think. Or they were out earlier. Another possibility. I don't see dog tracks with the fresh rinse though, and there's really only 2 sets, it looks like, heading this direction. I've got editing to do today, and I've got to eventually go get that car that's in the body shop. Coming up this Saturday, there's a local book market that I'm looking forward to. There's a space at the Cornwall Center we call the studio, which is just kind of a space that can be rented for various things, and cultural things in particular. And so there's going to be a book market, so I'm going to go and set up my usual table. Might cut it back a little because it's only an 8-foot table, not a 10-foot table. And hopefully sell some books. It's there from 10 to 5 if you're in Regina and want to check it out. Time since I've had an actual book table. What with Fan Expo and Sask Expo. I guess we're now Sask Expo. Sask Expo not happening the last couple of years for obvious reasons. I think they're tentatively hoping to have it in the spring. We'll see about that. The government seemed determined to restrict at the drop of a variant. It's just my face is cold, the rest of me is plenty warm. Your face has gone numb. You know, you can pretty much ignore the cold, right? I had that entire part of the walk to myself. Kirk in Vancouver. I think I can carry on. There's enough shelter along the way that I'm not getting the wind all the time. Also warming up as I walk more. So at least go as far as Pasco Street. I don't think I'll go any further today. Stop there. That's very odd. I wasn't on it. Get more wind here, but hopefully it's not too bad. And again, my external mic disconnected, but say connected, even though it's not wireless. Well, I have no idea. It's got to be something in the app. I mean, there's really no excuse for that. I guess I should test it with just the... oh, here comes our first dog walker. I guess I should test it with just the Apple video camera. See if it stays connected while I do that. I could just record one instead of doing it. Deflated over there. Decorations. It's getting brighter all the time. The lighting changes when the car went by. I never adjusted to it and adjusted back again. Dogs. Okay, another look to the east, to the west. It's tradition, don't you know? I'll carry on. Down to scratch my head, but then my finger on that side's getting cold on one side. Up again. Good to button it right up. I'm not worried about the mic, but can't do that easily with the gimbal in one hand. I have a new podcast episode this weekend, Mark Leslie Lefebvre, who people in the independent publishing community will certainly have heard of, and others. But he's also an author, as well as being someone very well known for talking about self-publishing in its modern incarnation. And the one after that will be Michael Brent Collins, Dragon Award-winning fantasy author. And then after that, I think it's Sarah Hoyt. And we'll see. I need to perhaps reach out now to a couple of more. Make sure I got plenty in my pocket as we head into the new year. And the new Kickstarter, probably in March, for Shapers of Worlds Volume 3. The sun should be up in 3 minutes. Break the horizon, I guess, really, is what it is. You won't particularly notice it. It's the clouds then. There we go. There he is up there. Maybe the geese have all left finally. I haven't heard them for a couple of days. They don't go very far apparently. Like South Dakota. Kind of that latitude. Somebody called me Captain Crunch after one of these ones. Yeah, just go as far as Pasco. So it might be a little under 45 minutes as opposed to the hour length. Snow's actually let up from when I first came out. It's supposed to come Let's see here. How long have I been going? 30 minutes? Yeah, I'll just turn around here back. Snow being chased by the wind on the Wascana Street there. Once I turn the corner with the wind behind me, it'll be very pleasant. The rest of the walk, not a very pleasant ride along here at the moment. Hi, Greg. In where? St. John's? Yeah, we're newly refrozen too after a really warm day on Sunday. It's +4. Now it's -11. And dropping, I think. Funny, when I checked, when I checked with Google, our Google Home Assistant that we got as a freebie for subscribing to something, the National Post, I think. So I'm in the habit in the morning, but the only thing I use it for is to ask what the temperature is. glanced at the forecast and it said snow, high of -9, 10, or whatever it was, -22. And then it said, there's currently a typhoon warning in effect. And since a typhoon is a Pacific hurricane, that would be really bad news if a typhoon made it as far inland as Regina, Saskatchewan. Or Regina, as Google insists on pronouncing it. When I checked, maybe half an hour later, that was gone. It didn't say that anymore. So somehow we'd gotten connected to somewhere in the Pacific, I guess. Although I'm not aware of any typhoons threatening the Pacific, but I wouldn't necessarily be. Maybe there's a Regina in the Philippines or somewhere. Straight bit here. There's a snowplow into the parking lot, I guess. There's nothing else there to plow. Let's see, it does the path. Looks too big for that. Well, if there's not enough fresh snow to plow, it's just a skiff of snow at the moment. We are supposed to get several centimeters over the next few days off and on, so we'll see how it plays out. At some point I'll have to shovel the walk. Nothing sure but death, taxes, and snow shoveling. Just a couple of months ago, I was climbing Signal Hill in St. John's. When we were there. In the company of Alan Doyle, which is cool. Way more uphill. Too many hills. This sidewalk hasn't been cleared as I slow down precipitously. I'm trying to work all of a sudden. I'm better on the grass. Particularly, it's still harder work. Dogs. Actually supposed to be on the leash. Must have been a drift there because it's quite heavy going right there. Actually, it's a little better here on the grass. Well, wind noise shouldn't be too bad over here, at least. This is sidewalk right now. Some better. So there's a car behind you, by the way, the street lights light up. There's a bit of a hill back there, so he lit up the stop sign for way back. Not really a stop, but sidewalk on this side. Just walking the street any way possible. And all slipperiness. Well, the sun should be up by now. The latest sunrise is just before 9, and it's actually on January 4th because sunrise keeps getting later even as the days start to get a little longer. You don't notice it in the morning hours. About a month or so or more. Going around to the Neil Balkwell Civic Arts Center. With a little Regina art gallery. City-owned gallery. I say city-owned, it's a city-owned building. I don't actually know how the art gallery is organized. There must be a board or something like that. I may have to form a board, an editorial board. What is the temperature? It is minus 11 Celsius or about 12 degrees Fahrenheit. I'll go down. I'll stay on the creek, but I'll walk down these north side of the creek. Once I get around the corner, or across the street, looking at a corner, when I get across, helpful stop here. And on your right. I think the gimbal must be cold. I'm actually trying to turn it, and it just keeps pointing in the same direction. Try to point over there, and it won't let me do it. Nope. I'm pointing straight ahead, and that's that. I've never done quite that before. I know it tries to follow things you point at, but maybe it's the light. Something. Well, I don't even know how the gimbal decides. It's connected to the phone by Bluetooth, so it's getting some sort of information from the screen. It's not just a motion thing. But I'm not using the app that came with it, so because you can't live stream with that. So I'm not entirely sure how it decides that it's not going to change direction. There, it's changing direction again. Down to the creek from this direction now. Quite warm now that I've turned around and not getting into the wind in my face at all, to speak of. icy along here. And rough. From the thawing we had. And of course, cars, when this is thawed, splash liquid over here, which then freezes when it gets cold. This makes for a bit of a mess there. All right, back on this side of the creek. Well, I guess that thing was doing the path, because there he goes. That truck that we saw down there, scraping the path. Elphinstone Street Bridge. Better footing along here. Better living through chemistry. So I'm facing directly into the sunrise. Not a sign of it, so the clouds must be pretty thick. Between College and Regina Avenues. The creek, as we see it in Arkansas. University. Although that was some short time ago, this December will be my, because I graduated in December, this will be 42 years since I graduated Harding University in Searcy, Arkansas, with a degree in journalism. Magna cum laude, for what it's worth. Minor in art. The only art significant thing I ever did was I did editorial cartoons for the Wayburn Review for many years. The art was quite mediocre, but the cartoons were pretty funny sometimes. One of these days, they're all in boxes in the basement. I need to go scan them all, so they outlive me, don't crumble into dust. Future generations would be lost if they didn't have access to my Wayburn Review cartoons from the 1980s. Lost, I tell you. Down the stairs here, which generally are not well cleared. And I am worried about that. Good morning. Here. Right on the creek. That's a creek house. And then it's Garnet Street, where I lived when I first moved to this neighborhood, just 4 houses down over here. You can point at it as I go by, as I came this way. It's the 3rd house from the corner. No, I think it's the 4th. Fourth house from the corner here. Second little one there. Got the sort of brownish gray stucco, slightly higher roof than the one next to it. That's where I lived, 2617 Garnet, for a few years. How long would that have been? We lived up in the Northwest for a year or two, much more than that. So I probably lived here for about 5 or 6, maybe 7. And then when I got married, we moved into the condo, which we then swapped with my mother-in-law when she was unable to manage the stairs in the house anymore. And we moved to the house we're in now. And she moved into the condo. But it's all been within a few blocks of each other since I moved down here from the northwest corner on Sherwood Drive. So this is my neighborhood. I'd sing the Mr. Rogers song if I could remember it. It's not a show I ever watched. Might have, but we didn't have a TV for a few years. The one we had in Texas broke on the trip up here. And for 2 or 3 years we didn't have a TV. And then we got one because I was sick in bed for 6 weeks with rheumatic fever. Got a little black and white portable. That's when I watched the moon landing on in 1969. But we only got 2 channels and one of them was fuzzy, so TV wasn't actually a huge part of my upbringing, as some people. Maybe that's why I was much more bookish, not bookie. A bookie's something else entirely. And I really don't like video for informational purposes for the most part. So a few things it's helpful for. Generally, I'd rather have clear, concise text, which I can read and grasp in seconds, as opposed to, here's a 15-minute video showing you how to do something I could tell you how to do in words in 2 minutes. Leopold, which I walked along last night, of course, showing off Christmas lights. And if they'd even give you the option, but so many helpful things are done as video, and it's such an inefficient way, unless there's some visual component to it, like here's how you hold your fingers, or here's what this thing looks like. But if it's just straightforward information about something that doesn't require you to actually see it to understand it, text is the way to go. And if you do a good enough job in text, you don't necessarily even need the video for those other things. Maybe a diagram or two. They're often clearer than the video anyway. There, that's how I feel. Ironically, since I'm on YouTube. But I don't do instructional videos. I might do an unboxing video. I don't know why those are popular, but some authors do it when they get new books, so maybe the next time I have a new book, I get a box of them, I'll do an unboxing video. Won't that be exciting? Something to look forward to. Tell your friends. Okay, 1 block and we're done. So even though I cut it a bit short, it's still 50 minutes because of the somewhat slower pace. Since I'm constrained by slipperiness and snow. Yes. Won't you be my neighbor? That's the song I'm thinking of, but for some reason the exact words and tune doesn't quite come to mind. I get it confused with some other song, I think. Because I never watched the show. Because I've only ever seen it done once or twice watching something else. Okie dokie. Here's our stop sign, so here's where I'll stop. Thanks for walking with me. Jaw's a little stiff. I'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now.